Greetings, witches, and welcome to the Witches Movie Coven. Raise your goat, raise your glass. We're going to talk and argue and discuss witches in movies. Tonight's movie, Ghost, the classic 1990 Demi Moore, Patrick Swayze. Ghost having a good time. Ghost. Let me introduce myself. I am one of your hosts. I am Patti Negri. You might know me from my regular podcast, The Witching Hour. You might know me from Ghost Adventures or all sorts of other things. And I am honored to be here with you now. And let me pass this on to my beautiful co-host, starting with Richard-Lael.
I am Richard-Lael. Richard-Lael is one name, not two. If I were just Richard, I would be a. With that, I am known as the gentleman psychic. Sometimes I feel like I'm the gentleman sidekick, and I'm okay with that. I'm here in New Orleans, but I'm also seen on Ghost Adventures, and I am seen on TikTok and on bathroom stalls everywhere, like Patti says. I stole that joke. And then also I'm at University Magicus, where we teach all things magic. And that's me.
Thank you. Jason's missing. So Courtney.
That's me. I'm Courtney Buckley, ghost bait on Scared and Alone. And up until today, it was a point of pride that I had never seen the movie Ghost. And now that's changed. So I have things to talk about.
Oh, okay. Jason's still gone. So Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Greene, and I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. It's a critical history of witches in American film and television. I'm also a journalist, and I cover all things witchy and occult in the media, as well as an editor at Llewellyn Worldwide. And I am in a promise to not say anything about Wicked on the show.
I don't promise that.
Well, I have my fingers crossed. Isn't that what you
got the color? She's got the dolls in the background. You just can't get away. We all have Wicked something, and there you go. But that's in a couple weeks, so we're teasing. Look at that, the Wicked hat. All right, so Ghost.
Oh.
It's Clayton.
Clayton.
Boom! Just for Courtney, I am wearing Clayton, the killing tree, on my head to welcome in my favorite time of the year, the holiday season. I'm Jason Mankey, author of Llewellyn's Little Book of Yule, and I think most people know that I am crazy about the holidays. And when I saw this hat, I had to get it in honor of Courtney Buckley, and I'm going to send it to you in the mail too.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Don't curse him today. Don't hex him today.
No.
He can't be hexed today now. It's
Boom! Safety for Jason. Woohoo!
We'll see. Everybody's fingers are crossed around here. All right. Ghost film. Now, hopefully all of you came and watched it this past week. It was playing several places, but just in case one of you didn't, Richard-Lael, do you have an unbiased synopsis of this beautiful classic film? Are you frozen?
Oh, I hexed her.
I do have. There is a slight lag, so I don't know if it's my internet. So I apologize if I am disjointed. So Ghost. It is a classic film, 1990, where Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, and
no, whoa, slow down.
And they all drag queens in the car, and they go across country. No, I'm just kidding. That's the wrong Patrick Swayze film. That is my favorite Patrick Swayze film. I'll just say that. But Ghost is actually a lovely story about this couple in New York City that love each other, and he has a hard time actually saying the words "I love you," and instead always says "ditto." And one evening after they've moved in together, everything is going well. He's got this new job at the bank where he's working on all these multi-million-dollar accounts. And then they're walking home one evening, and they get robbed, and then he gets shot, and he doesn't know it yet, but he is a ghost. And then, of course, Demi Moore does not believe in ghosts. She doesn't believe in the afterlife. But Patrick Swayze does, because now he's dead. and since nobody can see him, he ends up by going to a psychic in Brooklyn, a phony, a fake psychic, a charlatan who does not have the gift but likes to grift and make money. And then she finds out that she actually is a medium and is a psychic, and Patrick Swayze's ghost, she can hear him. And so it turns out that he has to solve this murder, and it was indeed a murder. It was not just accidental, because as it turns out, his friend in the bank firm was embezzling millions of dollars to pay off drug dealers and had put a hit on Patrick Swayze. And so in the interim, he's this sleazy, even though it's 1990, totally 80s villain. This totally 80s villain in a 1989 Mustang, by the by. He is also after Demi Moore's character, and then he threatens to kill her. There's a money transfer of $4 million that the ghost sort of tells the psychic to take so that the money is gone, and then she donates the money to nuns, and then there's ghost sex, but not as much as Patti and I thought there were. Then there are these sort of dementors that come and take the drug dealer and the 80s villain, and then there's angels of light that sort of take him to paradise. The end.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
That is the movie Ghost.
That was
Now that we understand the film completely, as always, perhaps Heather has 5 things we do need to know about the movie Ghost.
Yeah, there are 5 things, and none of them have to do with Wicked. The first one is the movie. We'll talk about that. Then the cast, then the musical, and then some context, and then finally bringing it to the present. So first, I want to talk about the movie itself. So this was a...
Can I interrupt for 1 second? Did you just say the musical?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Take a deep breath.
I can't.
No, you need to.
Okay.
Am I dead? I think
out
that
to
I
the
might
mouth.
be
Let's go.
dead. Am I dead? I think that I'm dead. Did I get shot? That's one of the early songs, Courtney.
Wow. Okay.
Just trying to help.
So,
Great.
you
Thank you, Jason.
let's focus here first a little bit. Let's bring it back to the movie itself. It was released in 1990, and it was a smashing success. It grossed like over $500 million or some insane thing. It was directed by Jerry Zucker, who was famed for the movie Airplane, which I can say from my childhood, I watched probably more than any other movie ever, and can probably quote that movie more than any other movie. And he also did Ruthless People, Friends with Benefits, and Naked Gun movies. So he does the whole comedy thing. And it also was written by, this was a script written for the movies by Reuben, I can't read the first name. I think it was Joel Reuben, maybe. And anyway, he also wrote Jacob's Ladder, Sleeping with the Enemy, and a few other movies you may have known. This movie, when it came out, it was nominated for the Best Picture, for best original screenplay, best supporting actress, Whoopi Goldberg, and a number of other things. It was nominated for a lot of awards. It was a smashing success. And this is a lot to say for just a pretty average rom-com, all things considered. This was a huge success. Of course, it was came out. Let's see. So the cast, that's the next big thing to talk about here. So you probably recognize a number of people. We'll start with Demi Moore. Demi Moore started her career in General Hospital. She's was in a ton of movies. This was her during her heyday. Many of her movies were not overly, award-winning. This probably was one of the close. She was in a witchy movie called Butcher's Wife at the same time, which I'll mention again later. She was in St. Elmo's Fire. A Few Good Men, Indecent Proposal. She was in a ton. of Striptease is probably one of her more well-known movies. She was never, she never got an award. A lot of her movies didn't do that great. This is one of her better films. Then you have, of course, the late, great Patrick Swayze. Everybody has a Patrick Swayze movie that they feel is their Patrick Swayze movie. He started out dancing, acting. He did sing. He sang in his movie. He's probably better known for is the Dirty Dancing movie. I shouldn't say better known for. This is probably equally as well known. He was in Point Break. He was in Tu Wong Fu, which is the one that Richard-Lael mentioned earlier. Roadhouse, and a ton of other things that he showed up as. In 1991, just after this movie, he was declared by People the world's sexiest man. This was his heyday as well, as you can probably figure. The other big actress, just a notable actress in here, is Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is one of the distinct actresses and artists that has gotten an Emmy, a Grammy, a Tony, and an Oscar. She has been in a ton of things. We can have a Patrick Swayze movie, we all can have a Whoopi Goldberg movie, because she's been in so many different types of movies, from comedy to serious. She's been on Broadway. She's done stuff. She's now on The View. Probably best known for things like Sister Act, of course, Jumping Jack Flash. I remember when that came out. Color Purple, the original movie. And also, if you're a Star Trek fan, she was Guinan on Star Trek Next Generation, which was one of my favorite ones of her roles. She is brilliant in that. She has gotten a ton of awards. So those are the three main people. You also have a few other actresses, but I'm going to move on to the question of the musical. Take a deep breath, Courtney. You want to close your ears for this? So in 1990, let me see when it went. Let me see. I have the date of when it came out. So in 2012, actually, no, it started in 2011. So it started in 2011. So this movie has been a huge success. Then sometime in probably 2009 or whatever, someone had a big brain idea to actually turn it into a musical. So it is a musical. It started in the UK, in Manchester, apparently, and it was enough of a success that it worked its way to Broadway in 2012 for 136 performances before it closed. It got average reviews. They said it pretty much depended too much on video and stuff. It didn't do what the movie did. Apparently it's still on tour in the UK. So if you really feel like seeing it, Courtney, you can book a trip over to the UK and go see Ghost, the musical.
I'm looking it up right now, so.
It did not do well. So that's another thing to know. Now, the context of this movie is kind of interesting, because we're right in the middle of the Satanic Panic, which is really sort of interesting to have this. It's not really a witch film, but there was a whole bunch of rom-com comedies around supernatural, witchy, psychic type of stuff. And you have a bunch of them all around this period of time. And some of them are Hello Again, which I think is we're going to be watching that. Butcher's Wife, which I already mentioned with Demi Moore. The Four Rooms. If you haven't seen The Four Rooms, the very first segment of that movie has Madonna in it. And it's all about witchcraft. It's hysterical. I won't detail it right now. Love at Stake, of course. We all talked about that one here. We all loved Love at Stake. Four Rooms, the segment on Four Rooms is similar vein to that one. So you have a bunch of these kind of silly rom-com and comedies, all that kind of center around witchcraft and the occult. So this movie kind of fits into that very well in terms of blending supernatural, ghosts, and comedy, rom-com. So finally, the fifth note, that I'm going to bring it to the present. I just want to say that Ghost is not wicked.
You mentioned wicked.
Nope. I was just specifying to clarity. It's not as good as Wicked. That's it. That's all I got for this one. We just need to talk about the scene, which we just saw. The pottery scene.
Wait, but that's the musical? I'm screaming. I found the soundtrack. Well, there's a song.
There's a soundtrack.
Yeah, Here Right Now, Unchained Melody, More, Three Little Words, Are You a Believer, With You, Suspend My Disbelief, / I Had a Life, Rain / Hold On, Life Turns on a Dime, Focus, Talking About a Miracle, Nothing Stops Another Day, I'm Out of Here, and Unchained Melody Dance / The Love Inside. So I will be listening to that in its entirety as soon as we're done here.
I heard that the music is poppy. It's more like, but that would like track for Broadway shows that were being done right now. We have a lot of that going on, which some good, some bad. I think the key thing tonight before this show is over, we all need to say what our Patrick Swayze and what our Whoopi Goldberg movie is, because that is really important. We already know what Richard-Lael's Patrick Swayze movie is, but you can say it again.
To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. She is just statuesque. Is there any other word? And of course, how could you not love Sister Act? I love him, and where he goes, I'll follow.
So are we doing that now? We can do that now before we talk about the movie, and then talk about the movie. Sure, we could do that now. Now as good as any. My Sister Act is my favorite Whoopi Goldberg. It's just catchy as anything. And this Ghost is my favorite Patrick Swayze. I love him, everything about him. I like this better than Dirty Dancing, 1,000 times better. Don't know why. I think I mentioned one other show. I had the privilege of having him come to one of my shows once. And I got to see him and his wife dance on the dance floor on New Year's Eve. And I thought I was going to die and go to heaven right then and there. And that was just before he got sick. So that's one of those little pinpoints in my life that I've seen somebody heavenly. He was heavenly. And then we got to watch him go up into the heavenly. So anyway, that's my favorite Whoopi and my favorite Patrick. Who's next?
Actually, Ben told me right before we came on that was his favorite Patrick Swayze right there. That was his Patrick.
Really classic sketch. Really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so what's your favorites, Heather?
So my favorite Patrick movie is Dirty Dancing. It was everything to me when I was a sophomore in high school, and I couldn't get enough. I watched it a bazillion times. So yeah, it's definitely Dirty Dancing. And my favorite Whoopi movie is Color Purple. I saw the musical, another one that had a musical that was brilliant actually. And the movie and the book and everything about Color Purple. So Whoopi was fantastic in that movie. So that's my Whoopi movie.
Yeah, she is. I mean, you don't think about how versatile she is anymore. Now you think of her like she's a talk show host, and you forget, and then she was a comedian. She's everything.
Uh-huh.
She's everything.
And,
all right.
You have to mention too that she was in what is that one? Was it Naked Gun? I think where she played a similar character to the one that she was in tonight, and then Tim Curry was in it as General Mortars.
Ooh, what is that?
I think it was Naked Gun.
Was it Naked Gun? Oh. I have to say, I live in Hollywood, by Hollywood at Highland, and they just took it down this past year being inappropriate in the world of everything. But they had literally winding through this outdoor Hollywood Highland, Hollywood themed mall with the big, like DeMille elephants and stuff. There was a yellow brick road that led to literally a casting couch, and they literally a big cement casting couch. And they literally had quotes from different stars. And the one from Whoopi Goldberg was one, I was on welfare. I mean, her startup she was on welfare. It was a whole thing. And then she got cast, and created this whole life for herself. So anyway, that's it. They took away the casting couch. So it sort of made me sad because it was a classic 90s or whatever that was built. So anyway, who wants to go next? Jason.
You know what? I really had to think about this. I think my favorite Patrick Swayze movie is Red Dawn, a movie that I watched on HBO probably 70 times because it was one of those movies that played on a loop in the mid 80s, and it had Leah Thompson on it, who I had a giant crush on at the time. That's what it all comes back to in my 80s self. My favorite Whoopi Goldberg movie is probably Star Trek Generations because she gets a ton of screen time in that movie, and she seems like the only rational, intelligent person in what is otherwise a mostly bad Star Trek film.
So, Jason, how many times did you stand on a mountain yell Wolverine when you were a teenager? Come on. You did it. You know it. I did it. That was
Wolverines. Yes, I did it many times. Now, though, as a Michigan State Spartan fan, though, I can't yell Wolverines. Things have changed, but I did as a child or a young teenager, probably too. Yeah, whatever.
So, Richard-Lael, did you give us that already? I don't think officially. You're numb.
I'm having some weird internet things. Let me try my phone. I'll try the phone. Okay.
Wait, he's there.
Okay, I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so for whatever reason, internet weird things, my favorites are, of course, I just said, now I can't even think. My favorites are Whoopi Goldberg, Sister Act, and then Patrick Swayze, Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Heather.
I did.
You did?
Wolverine.
All right. So let's go back. That was a nice break from our schedule. Oh, wait, Courtney, I knew somebody was.
I mean, mine's not very exciting, so it's fine if you want to skip me because I am not a fan of Patrick Swayze. I know. Not because I'm not a fan. I just am not a fan. I don't know.
Watch Tu Wong Fu.
Maybe that will change it, but I don't like Dirty Dancing, and I think it's dumb, and I am just not interested in anything that he did. I'm so sorry. Yeah, see, I'd like that. But Whoopi Goldberg, shockingly, my favorite Whoopi Goldberg movie was The Lion King. And all its iterations that she was in because she was one of the hyenas and they were the best. And The Lion King was my entire childhood. And I used to play pretend Lion King with my cousins and it was great. And I loved them and I loved her in it. So that's fine.
That wasn't boring at all.
No, I think that's good. Lion King's a good choice, Courtney.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a great movie.
All right. Now we will go back to our regularly scheduled program and talking about Ghost in the movie itself. Does anybody want to specifically go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So as stated, I had never seen this movie and that was a choice that I had made. And then I put it on today. I took a nap beforehand so that I could be sure to make it through because I had ideas about what my thoughts were going to be on it. So I did stay awake the whole time. I did watch it and I checked the time probably 73 times. It was the longest movie I've ever seen in my life. It felt like it took 5 business days to get through. And I felt that way the whole time, except for when Whoopi Goldberg was on the screen and her character. And then I was like, oh, wait, I like this. This is great. And then she would be gone. And I'd be like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. So I don't know if it's just the closeted romantic that was not feeling romantic today. So I wasn't into it, but it was so bad and I did not like it. And my favorite part is that I was screaming at the end. Also, first of all, was there even ghost sex because I was promised ghost sex and I don't think I saw any at all. And that upset me. But when Patrick Swayze came into Whoopi Goldberg, when she let him use her body, I sat there like this the whole time. I was like, that's Whoopi. Like, okay, I'm on board with this movie now. We're allies. That's Whoopi. Like, she is stroking Whoopi's arm. Whoopi is cupping her face. Like, this is also romantic. It's Whoopi. That's Whoopi. So I was very excited about that. That was thrilling me. But there was a lot of times when I think I said, are you kidding? Is this real? Like, at the screen. So yeah, so that's my feeling. I feel like I made the right choice by not watching it all this time, but also at the same time, now that I've seen it, I'm gonna pull a Heather. I didn't mind it because of Whoopi. I just didn't mind it. But like, also, I will never watch it again. I will watch the musical.
Okay, thank you very much. It's like we watch different movies, Courtney. It's like we watched completely different movies. Me, it was a rom-com. It was a standard boy-girl love story, rom-com, story. And then there was this nice little, the mystery and the bad guy and the friend and the betrayal and all that. I never once had to check the clock or check my phone or worry about falling asleep. The only thing I worried about is I haven't seen it probably since I was young. I haven't seen it in forever. And I'm this expert on spectrophilia, which is ghost human sex. This is one of my gigs. This is like travel the world. And in my memory, there was a whole lot more ghost sex. And there wasn't. I mean, for some reason, I was picturing the pottery scene was after he was dead for some reason. It's like, did they change this in the last 20, 30 years?
That.
Yes.
I hadn't seen it, and I thought that scene was after he was dead.
Yeah. So that really kind of threw me. It's like, I guess the best ghost sex they had was a hand job. You know, that was the hands, the Whoopi and him hands was that was the ghost sex. But in my mind, there's a lot more ghost sex in the movie. And I think there certainly could have been, at least because
I feel like there should have been.
And people think there was, because I don't bring it up. Other people will bring it up. They're like, oh, ghost human. And they'll go, oh, like ghost. Oh, like, yes, like ghost. Now I'm going to say, well, not really. Hand job. I don't know.
It's the mandala effect.
Yeah.
It's the mandala effect. Did you know that, by the by, I grew up in the 80s. So I just learned today, where was it yesterday? But I just learned that Ed McMahon never worked for the Publishers Clearinghouse ever, and he never showed up with a big check. Ed McMahon never did. His face was on the check. I remember this as a kid, but that never happened.
No, of course he did. Hi, I'm Ed McMahon.
No, I looked it up. Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse.
There's so
commercials.
many.
And his face was on the mail.
He worked for
when you
American
would fill out at
Family
home.
Publishers, a rival of Publishers Clearinghouse. There were two sweepstakes at the time, and Ed worked for the less famous sweepstake, but now we have put them together in our minds, just like we've put together the idea that Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore have ghost sex, and I too was disappointed in the entire lack of ghost sex. I thought at the very least there's going to be ghost sex in this movie, and they had literally 7 hours to have ghost sex in this film, because that's how long it feels, and they did it really once. 7 hours. They couldn't even do it once. You know, long 7 hours. Very long. Did you like how I put all of it together? Did you like
Yeah,
it?
that's very good.
All the weaves.
Well, I want to answer. Colin asked if they do edit movies over time. They sometimes do. In fact, there's a lot of movies that have scenes removed and scenes added, and director's cuts, and then you have scenes re-edited, and like Star Wars had scenes redone in CGI after it was. So it happens. Usually, though. Usually it's told. The only time it's not told is if there's like a reason, like a censorship issue, and then stuff gets removed. So usually you'll have like new scenes added or re-edited for modern blah 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 blah. So unlikely this scene was cut. I think that most likely in the 90s, at this time, this viewership in the 80s and 90s, people watch this. It's very sensual. It's meant to be, and people just remember it as that. even though it actually wasn't on the screen. So that's just what was remembered. And I'm not including me with that, because this movie was a meh for me back then when I saw it. When I rewatched it more recently, for some reason, I decided I was going to watch it again in the last 6 months or so. I'm like, yeah, still a meh. I love Whoopi Goldberg. There's some good characters. There's some moments in it. But as a diehard romantic, you would have thought this movie would have been one where I was like, remembered it. It meant something. It was, one of those films. No, I remember in the 90s, I remember seeing this probably in the theaters or shortly after. I don't remember, but I just remember walking away going, yeah. And I loved Patrick Swayze. As the Dirty Dancing I was all about that. And I don't care what you guys say about Dirty Dancing. I loved it as a 15-year-old. This movie, and I liked Patrick Swayze. I had no problem with him. I don't know. It didn't ring a bell. It didn't ring a bell. It didn't hit that chord for me. So
I think this movie is probably more famous for Righteous Brothers' Unchained Melody and what we think happened in the pottery scene, because that's the only thing that you see over and over with this film. That's the part that has really stuck, not their interpretation of ghosts, not the pixie haircut, nothing but that scene. That's pretty much it. And it's been parodied so many times that I think we look at it differently because of the parodies.
And it's actually considered one of the most classic Hollywood scenes now. If you were to do a montage of the classic Hollywood scenes from Hollywood movies, that's in there. Every single time we'll show that scene. It was interesting. It was a very well done scene. I think the concept was there. You had the right. Patrick Swayze was the perfect figure at the time. Demi Moore was, she was fine in it. And it was a beautifully done scene. And it's just, it's reached the height. It's similar to you'll see the montage from Godfather, and then you'll see this one. I mean, that's how famous this scene is. Rosebud, and you'll see this one. There are just scenes that are classic. This is one of them, and it will continue to live on. That's the thing that's going to survive. It's unfortunate with Whoopi Goldberg's some of her stuff from this movie that actually got nominated for award is not going to live on quite as long, but that scene will. That will be the one thing.
Do you think that for his birthday once, Ashton Kutcher was like, Demi, can we make pottery together?
Stop.
Do you think he asked for that? Because I'm betting he did probably several different times. That's
or Bruce Willis, maybe?
Yeah, but they were together before, but I'm sure that,
okay.
Again, yeah.
I don't keep up on her the dates of her marriages and divorces, so I do
my research before the show. I gotta research things for us.
But Patrick Swayze was, talk about in his prime. I even more than Dirty Dancing, his physique, his look, his whatever that 90 look was.
There it is.
No, I think it's better. I think looking at that one little clip and
but you know what?
It's better than the other. Yeah.
Oh, is he gone?
Frozen. Come back.
That's a movie for another day.
I was so astounded, though, at his beauty. Am I frozen?
Yes. You were astounded at his what?
Anyway, am I still here? Everyone else is frozen. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Nope.
I was astounded in Tu Wong Fu how gorgeous he was as a woman. Like, he was beautiful as a woman. See, look at this. Look at that beautiful face.
There he is.
Tu Wong Fu.
Beautiful. He's beautiful.
I don't get it.
You don't think he's beautiful?
No. I think he's beautiful in the way that everybody is beautiful. I think that he's beautiful in the same way that everybody's beautiful.
And you will love him. You will be his biggest fan after you watch Tu Wong Fu. Watch it. You'll love it. I think you'll love it.
It's a challenge.
It could not be made now. It's 1990.
Richard-Lael, did you see the Australian version? I'm sorry. Have you seen the Australian version of Tu Wong Fu? It's Queen of the Desert.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
I saw both the film. I saw both the film and I saw in the West End in London. I saw the stage musical, which is amazing. I love it better than the actual film.
Oh, thank you. You're a little choppy yet, Richard-Lael, just saying. Okay.
I don't know what is happening.
Ghosts. Ha.
It's
Probably.
It's so unfortunate that he was he had to leave early. He passed away of cancer, and it is sad because he was a talent. He was a dancer. We can say he was a singer because he did sing, but I think we probably want to think of him as a dancer and an actor. And he did a variety of different roles, similar to Whoopi Goldberg. He wasn't only stuck in one. And I just have a sense that if he had lived longer, we would have seen even more variety from him. He was kind of pigeonholed, I think, because of his look after Dirty Dancing and some of those other films that he did. He was kind of pigeonholed, but he did break out and do a few other things. Who knows what he would have done?
Yeah.
Probably some Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yes, that I would have been on board with.
That is probably true, Jason.
And Hallmark Christmas movies don't bore you, Courtney?
No, they're my guilty pleasure. I'm obsessed with them. There's one, let's talk about it real quick because it just came in my brain and I feel like maybe we could do it on the podcast. My favorite one is called The Spirit of Christmas, and it's about a woman who works for some kind of firm, and she has to go down and do the closing on this inn, and then she gets there and they're like, whoops, the inn is closed for the 12 days of Christmas. And she's like, well, I can't do that. And they're like, well, it's this big mystery why it's closed. And it turns out it's because the ghost of the guy that used to own it comes back. And so she refuses to leave, and then he's mad at her. So he haunts her until they fall in love. And then she helps him solve his own murder. And then at the end, spoiler alert, he gets to come back from the dead instead of being a ghost, and he can be with her. And it's beautiful.
As a zombie. He comes back as
as love.
Zombie.
And I watch it every year, and I watch it sometimes in July because I bought it. Because
did they have ghost sex?
They might have.
Yeah, it's sounding like it by that plot line.
But there's like never sex in these movies. There should be. I imagined the ghost sex. Does that count?
Yeah, that's what happened with this Ghost, the movie Ghost.
So, it was much more exciting. The Ghost Sex and Spirit of Christmas was much more exciting. It seems like a very similar movie, actually, but it was just better. So, and there was no pottery, and it was Christmas.
You know, it'd be really great if all of the things that we think happened in the 90s all showed up in Ghost at the same time. So there'd be like the ghost sex, and then Ed McMahon comes in, One Publishers Clearinghouse, and then you would see Sinbad in his suit.
I'm so mad about that one because that's real. You can't tell me it's not.
Boom in one with CGI and stuff. I think they could add all that in now. It'd make a better experience.
With the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia, because that's the other one that bothers me.
What about Fruit of the Loom?
You didn't know about that? There's a Fruit of the Loom logo. I will swear on it, had a cornucopia. There was a fruit in the cornucopia. And that's how I knew what a cornucopia was, because of the Fruit of the Loom logo. If you look it up, it's one of the Mandela effects. There never has been a cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo.
And I think there has too. I mean, it looks like there has, feels like there has.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you see all of that abundance in underwear, you just assume that there's going to be a cornucopia there.
Obviously.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So have we discussed everything about this film? The scenes, the actors?
We could discuss how Demi Moore is given almost nothing to do, and her character probably has 30 lines. Mm-hmm. And mostly it's about Patrick Swayze learning to use his ghost powers. That's what I took away from the movie. I don't know. I was really disappointed in Demi Moore's. See, cornucopia. There it is.
But it didn't exist. The cornucopia doesn't exist.
Nope.
How did we learn what a cornucopia was? It was the Fruit of the Loom.
And that's where I learned it. But they say that it never existed.
It did.
And Jiffy, it never existed. Jiffy peanut butter has always been Jif.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because you're confused it with Skippy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Berenstain Bears were always Berenstain, not Berenstein.
Mm-hmm.
We're
just hopping timelines everywhere. That's the problem. We're all hopping the timeline. So that's what helps me sleep at night.
Okay. Well, I guess we're moving on from this beautiful film, but do we have any quotes?
Unfortunately.
Oh, a big sigh out of you.
Let me pull them up.
You've pulled quotes out of movies you've liked worse than this one.
Well, okay, so I have quotes and I have notes. Okay, so the first one I wrote down was when he was on the train and there was the ghost on the train and the ghost was like trains, and I was like, what is happening? And they said, get out, this is mine. And I was like, wow, this is a lot, and I don't know which way this is gonna go. And then that's the way it went. Then I wrote this down not because it's a good quote, but because I had something to say about it. When he was yelling at Willie and he was like, no, you stay away from her. Do you hear me? And I literally out loud to the TV was like, as if he could hear me. I was like, no, obviously he doesn't, because you're a ghost and he can't hear me. So just feel like we could have done something with that. When Whoopi was yelling up to Demi Moore from the street and she yells, I know about the green underwear you wrote your name in. I'll never get over that one. And I thought, me either. And then there was the whole exchange when she finally gets in and she sits down and she's yelling at him. And I feel like this is something I would do. When he was like yelling at her to say things and she's like, well, now you have an attitude. And now I'm not going to do that because you have an attitude. Oh, and now I'm getting up and I'm leaving because you have an attitude. And he's like, I don't have an attitude. And she's like, well, if you didn't have an attitude, you wouldn't have raised your voice at me like that. And we're not going to talk if you're going to raise your voice at me like that. So fix your attitude and then apologize. And I feel like when I talk to ghosts, that's how I speak to them. So I was very excited. I felt seen by that. And then during that, he said, would you relax? And she goes, no, you relax. You're the dead guy. Let me see. And then she says to him, why don't you go haunt a house, rattle some chains or something? And I thought that was funny. And then I have one more. Hold on. When they're doing the check and she goes, like she's like astounded that he wants her to give the $4 million to the nuns, and he says, think of it this way, you'll go to heaven. And he goes, I don't want to go to heaven. Or she goes, I don't want to go to heaven, I want to go to the bank and cash the stupid check. And I just thought it was so ridiculous. So then I have more notes here. I wrote down in all capital letters, the blood demons, what is happening? Which I don't think they were blood demons, but they were like shadow demons. They were dragging them to hell or whatever because they were bad guys. But like all of a sudden, just the pavement started rising. And I was like, oh, okay. Like this, cool. And then I was like, that wasn't like so bad. Like I get it. But then when the other dude, whatever his name was, Carl, that kills people. When Carl was... Jr. When Carl died, and then the ghost, the blood shadow demons, whatever they were, came for him, I was like, no, this is a lot. We didn't need their little cartoon faces and we didn't need their little cartoon hands, and that was ridiculous. And then I also now I wrote the note, if Demi and Whoopi kiss, it will save the movie.
Yes.
Which I did not witness, but I thought about it a lot. And then I wrote down 4 times, that's not Sam, that's Whoopi, as I was watching that scene. That's not Sam, that's Whoopi. That's not Sam, that's Whoopi. So yeah, that was it.
All right. Thank you very, very much for those lovely quotes. Jason, do we have a Mankey movie minute or moment?
I feel like Courtney just did it for me, so I don't even have to. I don't even have to do it. No, I do have one.
You do.
You know, as witches, we endeavor to live in harmony with the earth and with the changing of the seasons. To that end, many of our movie selections around a holiday reflect that particular time of year. This year, near Halloween, we watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We even watched The Love Witch for a very, very special Valentine's Day episode of the show. And of course, one magical Yuletide Wednesday night, we talked about the mayhem and mirth and magic, of course, of the Killing Tree. So, for my favorite holiday, which is Thanksgiving, we, of course, choose a film that has so much to do with Thanksgiving, Ghost. Remember that iconic scene where Demi Moore bakes a turkey for the ghost of Patrick Swayze and then proceeds to sexually throw stuffing at his spectral form? Oh, wait, you don't, because that didn't happen. Ghost has absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving. They don't even eat food in this movie or even appear all that grateful for anything, even though they live in a giant loft worth billions of dollars. I guess it looks cold in New York City during much of the film, though they never really tell you what time of year everything is. Yay! I'm so glad we are spreading Thanksgiving cheer on the show this year by watching Ghost. So, Ghost. What is there to be thankful for with Ghost? Well, until yesterday, I had managed to go my entire life without watching Ghost, which I guess is something to be thankful for. I'm thankful that it was only 2 hours and 10 minutes instead of 2 hours and 30 minutes. Wouldn't want to cut out any of those riveting early scenes of Patrick Swayze going to work in the office. Yay! I'm thankful for Demi Moore getting to put her hands around a long yet girthy cylindrical object. I get that she's a sculptor, but I keep thinking the pottery was a replacement for something they couldn't show on screen. I wonder what that was. I'm thankful for getting to hear the Righteous Brothers' Unchained Melody for the 500th time, because truly, that is a great song. Speaking of long and cylindrical, I'm thankful that the ghost of Patrick Swayze did not have sex with Demi Moore while he was in the body of Whoopi Goldberg. It brings up all kinds of consent issues, which I'm thankful I did not have to sort through at the conclusion of the movie. I'm thankful that Tony Goldwyn's Carl Bruner is one of the least threatening bad guys I've ever encountered in a movie. Sure, he's a creep and a scumbag, but I've been more threatened by a bad guy while watching Paw Patrol. I am always thankful when a movie has pretty low stakes. That way I can play on my phone. I'm thankful, honestly, for Whoopi Goldberg's performance in Ghost, which is actually really awesome. It brings me great sadness that it takes the first 30 minutes of the movie to get to Whoopi. It should not have taken that long, but I guess I'm thankful that we finally got there. I'm thankful for the character of Molly Jensen. She's an artist with a pixie cut and has all of 40 lines of the movie. Demi Moore is a movie star, but it's more important for the white guy who learns to master his ghost powers at the end of the film to save the day than anything else. 1990 doesn't feel like that long ago. Maybe it was, I'm not sure. Can't tell if that makes me thankful or sad or really, really depressed. But mostly, I'm thankful to my beloved movie coven for while Ghost is not seasonally appropriate in any way and doesn't even contain a witch, it did set me up for some easy jokes tonight. And thankfully, it looks like not a curse from Courtney. May your holiday, if you celebrate it, not be haunted by ghost turkeys or even the ghost of Patrick Swayze. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yay!
That's beautiful. That was a nice house. They did.
It really was.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Yeah. They had all this room, and then, we've got like a whole 2 other wings that are unfinished upstairs. Like, even back then, that would have been millions of dollars.
Even
in
1990, that would have been.
Yeah.
He's a really good banker.
Mm.
Well, maybe he was the one who was embezzling all the money in the first place.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
No, because the little white sparkly heavens came down. Otherwise, they were very bad black death demons. They were not scary at all.
No.
But maybe the little white sparkles were happy that they were taking from the rich guys. Maybe they were happy for that.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, well, I guess it is time to rate and vote on this classic film, whatever we want to call it. Where's my wand? So, and you guys, thank you for all the quotes here. You guys have been very funny today and very good, and we thank you for your support. So let's vote on Ghost. Wands up, wands down. Pottery up, pottery down. Okay, up, down, neutral. This is like the weirdest tie ever. I don't know why. Wands up and horns up from Calvin. Okay, all you guys jump in. So I'm glad that you're a ghosts up, Richard-Lael. Very phallic ghost. I like it.
I loved it, actually. I have to tell you that there is a reason that I actually really loved it, and it reminded me of the fact that not everyone knows that they are clairvoyant. Not everyone knows that they are mediums until it happens one day. I've seen it happen with people that I have dealt with, is that they don't know that they don't know it until they know it, and then they just wake up. And then on the other side of the things, when my mother passed away 2 years ago, 3 days ago, my mother came to visit me the next evening, and she was in her pretty blue dress that she wore to my second birthday, and she bent down and she kissed me and she tucked me in, and then she went to my friend Lauren Morgan Richards, and he said, I think your mom came to me, and she says that she likes the owls by your bed, and I don't know what that means. Oh, but you will. And he says you have 2 windows, and there's a mirror, and she's worried about the unstable mirror, and she says that the books that she used to read to you as a baby are under that mirror, and it was all of it was right. And I woke up and I saw my mother, and it was just so lovely. So when I saw Ghost, I couldn't help but be a little nostalgic at a time of Thanksgiving for the time that I had with my own mother. So
That is beautiful. Like
That's
wands up, wands up. And again, almost everybody is doing wands up of our beautiful, fabulous, we love you so much chat. It's wands up, wands up. I do some trance channeling, and I cracked me up when Whoopi was fake. I must say that cracked me up because she is that classic scam artist. I love looking at that. But then when it really do, it does feel like that. For those of us who trance channel, it's like you've got 2 people in your body. You have to adjust to that. So I thought they did that really good for a big theatrical rom-com, I think. So thank you guys all for voting. How are we doing on time? Oh, we are doing great. Before we talk about everything we have coming up, and wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving or Indigenous People Day or whatever it is we celebrate and eat with. What are we doing next week?
Stardust. I think it's like 2004 or 5 with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, good. Okay. Michelle Pfeiffer, Stardust. Next week, everybody watch it. We'll be full blown into the holiday season. See, I think the holiday season really, Christmas starts after Thanksgiving, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is so late this year. It's not fair. Like, you can't steal this many days of my time of year from me. If Thanksgiving is the 28th, that's just not fair.
You should have a turkey hat on. You should have a turkey hat.
I disagree. Clayton hat all year round. Give it to me. I love it.
I was just so excited when I saw this, though.
That's a good hat.
Because it really is Clayton, and I just thought of Courtney immedially. So
you should just start shaking and saying rude words.
Yeah.
What the duck? Where's my map? My map.
Wait, I'm just seeing something right now. Happy holidays and World Pagan Day. Is it World Pagan Day, or what is World Pagan Day? I don't know this. I should, I guess. Is Thanksgiving World Pagan Day? What? Help, Kelvin, fill us in. Somebody? Don't know. But happy World Pagan Day. I guess it is now because I've seen it in print.
Seems reasonable to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Patti. The holidays don't begin until Santa Claus comes down to get to Herald Square. Once Santa Claus hits Herald Square, then it's game on.
Right.
And Ben runs and hides because he knows I'm pulling out the decorations.
I have to say, I am not on any of your sides. The holiday doesn't start until the Hollywood. It doesn't start. It It never starts. The holiday season never starts for me.
For me, it's Sunday in Hollywood. I live in Hollywood, and for years I've been a professional balloon wrangler. And if anybody wants a balloon wrangle this Sunday, I can set you up. The Hollywood Christmas Parade, which is a mini balloon parade, is the Sunday, always the Sunday after Thanksgiving. That's when you bring out the red and green and put away the brown and orange. Just saying.
When I lived in Michigan, we used to have our annual parade, Silver Bells in the City, where we lighted this, when we lit the state Christmas tree the week before Thanksgiving. So, you know, for me, it's a long time coming that this is the holiday season already, and everything but my tree is already up in my house. Woo!
Yeah. Wow. It's too early.
What's that?
Growing up in New York City, of course, it was the Macy's Day Parade, and I went a couple of times, but it was always so cold. I remember standing there freezing, watching the stuff go down. But it's still to this day, I'll wake up tomorrow morning, click it on, and I sit in front until the dog show comes on. As soon as it flips over the dog show, I'm out. Santa arrives, the dog show comes on. Now it's time to cook every single time. And I'm screaming and yelling. Kids come down and like they're not even in the house. They're all, teenagers like, oh, they're not even up. But that is my start of my Thanksgiving, and that means the holidays are here. Well, you do have a holiday. You think your birthday comes right towards the end of the season.
The very end, right after all of the family-friendly stuff. Thankfully, that's over by the time my birthday comes around. It's New Year's Eve. There's always a celebration. I'm glad I'm not born on the 1st because everything would be closed. Everyone would have a hangover. All of their gym equipment already has towels on it. They're not all of the.
That's true.
But on New Year's Eve, there's always hope. And they always say, I'm going to do better, and I'm going to drink less, and I'm going to laugh more, and I'm going to love more. So yes, New Year's Eve, that's my holiday.
Perfect. Well, happy holidays whenever, whoever, whatever we all celebrate. Well, we have a couple minutes left. Does anybody have anything exciting coming up that they want to talk about? Courtney?
I will be updating my Tinder profile to include please offer ghost sex only because I didn't get enough of it today.
Thank you very much.
You are going to meet some interesting people.
You'll have to fill us in.
Screenshot all of that because I want to see it. I want to see it.
Please share.
I can help you with that, Courtney. I really
Thank
can.
you.
Okay. Jason.
No, this is a quiet time of year. Nothing going on until February. I love this time of year. Don't have to fly. Don't have to go anywhere. I can just celebrate my holidays.
Beautiful. Richard-Lael.
Yep.
I am the Gentleman Psychic at gentlemanpsychic.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the website. You can find me at University Magicus. You can find me at Apothecary here in New Orleans, or you can come into my home and do a seance, and maybe we can have some ghost sex here.
Yes.
It's possible.
That's good. And Heather.
I'm just doing my normal thing, working with my authors, 24/7, but 365. So I'll be continuing that. Other than that, it's all family time from here on in. I've got some kid graduations and other stuff. Yeah, I didn't mind it. And you can get my t-shirt. I didn't mind it for a nice gift if you didn't mind it. And yeah, just hanging out. Like Jason said, it's nice to be home and doing home things.
That is good. I'm home for a whole week. If anybody is in the Texas area, next week we are doing a Spirit of Christmas paranormal investigation at the Old Park Hotel, which is about a couple hours out of Dallas in the middle of nowhere. But it's very Christmas themed paranormal ghost hunt with my partner at Paraflix, Natalie Jones, and myself. People can spend the night in this haunted, very old Western mining town place. And then the week after that, I'm going to be in Jackson, California, kind of Northern California, doing another holiday themed paranormal thing. So that is it. Just 2 short weekends in December, which is almost staying home for me. I have my beautiful book. Thank you, Heather Llewellyn. Dogcraft, which is not available till next year, but you can pre-order now on Amazon. And I hope you do. I worked really hard on it, and it's it's because dolls. We talk about dolls. We all have dolls. Even Courtney is a doll person now. So we hardly even talk anymore how she went from I hate dolls to like the biggest doll person we know.
It
But
wasn't that I hated them. I was scared of them. But
hate
you guys opened my eyes. They were
I'm
terrifying.
still frightened, and I will continue to be frightened.
You don't want not a doll, Jason?
No, but it is a doll.
Oh, I don't know where she is.
anyway, and
Heather, no.
we got our thing. Oh, and that beautiful doll you have. Yes, in January, I'm going to be in the UK doing seances. And in January, I'm going to be back east somewhere at Hanover. We'll talk about that later. And you, too, can have a Black Phillip. You, too, can have a Bling Phillip right here. Bling Phillip comes in silver tone or gold tone. MysteryControl.com. Get capes and cloaks and T-shirts and hats and mugs, underwear, everything. MysteryControl.com. Pillows. We could dress your whole house, your whole body, and your whole plushy world. So
it's my whole life over here. And it's the Black Phillip Friday sale.
There is a Black Phillip Friday sale. I cannot remember what it is though.
13% off, code BLACK. You can be just like me and buy everything on the website because that's what I do, and support your witches and use code BLACK. Do all of your Black Friday shopping with Black Phillip, obviously.
Yes. So join us, and you too can hold up Black Phillip and cuddle him all the show like we do. And they do, we've all discussed this, make really nice plain pillows.
He's a great neck pillow.
Great neck pillow. And why have that stupid half donut ring stuck on your suitcase? Why not have Black Phillip stuck on your suitcase? Anyway, that is it. It is that time. We have one more thing to do. Wish you happy Thanksgiving or whatever you choose. Happy Pagan Day. Happy whatever it is. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah!